You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now it's 7. Everyone loves chicken noodle soup. Our very own Lonnie Walton heads into the kitchen to share how this particular one, is deeply rooted in one community.
Also, our very own Samantha Walker answers the question of what happens to your ballot after it's been cast.
And we've got ourselves a few clouds out there as we start our day. Even a couple of showers in our far western counties. Look at that forecast. Get you out the door. Coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. It is October the 8th. It is now Tuesday.
It's now Tuesday.
It'll be Tuesday in my
your
head
favorite
every
day
day
of the
this week. I don't even know why. It happened last week and it was trying to happen again. So we'll have to see what tomorrow brings when it's not Tuesday anymore. But at least today, it is
Live it up.
Tuesday. Yeah. Got to enjoy your Tuesdays. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, any day of the week, especially when it gets cold or if you aren't feeling well. It's good for chicken noodle soup.
Yeah. Well, for 75 years, generations of chefs have embraced a beloved tradition of preparing chicken and noodle dinners to benefit the church's fundraiser for its mission and faith.
Tradition is upheld by members of the Frontenac United Methodist Church, where their dish sells out each fall and winter. KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with an original member and takes us to the kitchen for the story.
Well, honey, if you was raised back 75, 80 years ago, you do a lot of things, learn how to do a lot of things. And noodles was something that we all made back then.
Cleo Natalini from Frontenac United Methodist Church is the original member of the 75-year tradition chicken and noodle dish. She says she does it all for her faith.
We did it to raise money for the church, and it's just gone on and on.
Church member Jan Alai says they were whooped after all the work. They've invited the Frontenac Middle School next door to help with the load.
We're worn out.
It's a lot of work.
I tell you, we had to start making noodles a week before because we couldn't do it. Yeah. We've been blessed with the students from Frontenac that come over.
The members of the church are very thankful for the students who come and help them. The teacher says it's the experience that they get from the classroom to the kitchen.
They love it. Like this group right now doesn't want to leave. They're upset when the block is over that it's time to go back to their regular schedule. And then the students in the past, if they get to do it again, they're like, yes, I love Noodle Day.
I love those kids like they was my own.
As the aroma of the homemade noodles fill the air, it's clear that this time-honored tradition helps strengthen the bonds of the community. Reporting in Frontenac, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Well, the church says they plan on making between 80 to 100 pounds of chicken for this season. If you want to get a taste of those homemade noodles, the church will start taking pre-orders during the middle of next week.
The October dinner will be held on October the 16th, and I learned very rapidly that this was not what I thought it was. See, I thought it was a typo when it said chicken and noodle. This is what happens when I don't read ahead and I'm working on weather stuff. It's not chicken.
No, it's not chicken noodle soup. It's a classic chicken and noodle dish, but hey, if you
you could turn it into a soup, I suppose, but it looks really good though.
It
looks incredible. It's amazing. So get out there and make sure you get some chicken and noodle stuff. Okay.
Selling it good.
Oh my.
It's Tuesday.
Are we sure anymore? I don't know. Let's take a quick look outside our camera downtown Pittsburgh and show you the sunrise this morning. I really thought it was supposed to be chicken noodle soup. We're looking pretty good. Look at that, though. Beautiful shot from our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. We'll head down south to the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line. You can still see some of those clouds out there as well. And we're going to head back to Kansas. KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue. Looking good. Now, we have something interesting to show you on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Rain. And I'm telling you, this is what, I can't remember how many times this year this has happened. These little showers, we've had a couple of rumbles of thunder, did not show up on any of the data this morning. but we are seeing rain now just outside of Howard and to the northwest of Sedan, and we're seeing additional development taking place back toward the west sides of Wichita, by Mulvane to Wellington. So we'll keep an eye on it. Not expecting anything strong or severe by any means, but we'll see how it holds together. Now, most of it was initially having a hard time even getting into our viewing area, but we are getting some showers out there. And while it may not be widespread, at least some of us will get some rain. By noon, as you can see on the future track, no rain showing up, just a few clouds here and there. Temperatures today will be a bit warmer than where they were yesterday and just a little above average, but we'll start to heat up more so tomorrow. 51 in Joplin. We're sitting at 50 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, we've got some pretty chilly temps below normal out there. Stockton now the cool spot at 41 degrees, and otherwise a mix of the 40s and 50s. So near normal, and some of us, like Stockton, 10 degrees below normal. Highs today, mid-upper 70s, a few clouds clearing later this evening. Northeast winds at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Temperatures tomorrow about 10 degrees above normal. We'll have a look at that, plus the latest on Hurricane Milton here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, a McDonald County woman received sentencing for the killing of her husband. A McDonald County judge yesterday formally sentenced Dawn Wynn to life in prison without parole for shooting and killing her husband, Harold Wynn, in 2021 near Anderson, Missouri. Now, during her trial in August, the defense argued that the initial investigation of the scene included a series of missteps, as well as no fingerprints on the murder weapon. A forensic pathologist testified that Mr. Wynn could not have committed suicide due to the lack of trace evidence, gunpowder, or burn marks. Wynn was also sentenced to 15 years in prison for armed criminal action. Find more details on the case on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, Joplin authorities were clearing a crash on I-44 just near Rangeline, just after 10 a.m. yesterday morning when another crash occurred. Now, the secondary crash, which happened in the eastbound lanes, involved 2 school buses and a towed vehicle. The first bus was towing an SUV, and as the first bus slowed in traffic, the second bus crashed into the towed vehicle, crushing it between them. Authorities say both buses were new and being delivered to a school district, but did not have children on board at the time. There were no reported injuries. Well, when you vote on November 5th, you might wonder what happens to your ballot after you turn it in. KOAM's Samantha Walker sat down with the Missouri Secretary of State to learn about the certification process for election results.
When your ballot leaves your hand, you won't be the last person to see it. Your ballot is dropped to the bottom of a tabulator or ballot box. It isn't copied or destroyed. When polls officially close, tabulator machines wrap up their numbers from all precincts, and election officials begin their count as well. But that is just the first step in a nearly month-long process to certify official election results and make sure your vote was counted correctly.
We keep counting. We then go through a process of certification. We go back and check the numbers. We keep track of how many ballots are sent to a polling location, how many are cast, how many are spoiled, how many are brought back. Does that match up with the number of votes?
He says this process also allows them to correct any issues they may notice within election results. Ashcroft says it's not uncommon for numbers to be entered incorrectly on accident at the local level, but the certification process ensures that someone else is counting those same ballots and corrects those numbers before it's too late.
Sometimes we will notice a problem on election night with a number, but once we've put it out there, we don't change it until we go through the certification process. Because the last thing we want is for numbers to be changing and people saying, hey, what's going on there?
The Secretary of State adds that you will likely see a slight difference in numbers between the unofficial results released on election night and those released after the certification process. The official results come directly from the Secretary of State's office after they have completed all certifications. You can find them on their website. Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Now, the certification process typically lasts for 30 days past the election. It's expected more than 3 million Missourians will vote this November. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Jasmine Kyle from the SEK Humane Society joins us this morning with a few friends she would like you to meet. And later, Starlene Patton shares a recipe for a fall salad. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Whitmer Pumpkin Patch located in Franklin, Kansas.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Jasmine Kyle, director of the SEK Humane Society, is here this morning with some familiar faces that you may recall from just not long ago.
Yeah, so like a month and a half, we were here with you guys with two little nuggets, two little beans. They were just a day old because their mama had had a difficult birthing session. So we brought them along to keep an eye on them, but here they are. They grew up quick. So these are her two daughters. So you have Danish and Julius.
All right, so this is Julius here.
Yeah, you have.
Okay,
yeah,
so I've got Julius.
I have Julius. You have Danish. So Danish is a little bit bigger than her sister.
Okay.
Julius is the runt. But both are females, which is actually a little rare for orange cats. Orange cats have the most testosterone, so they're usually boys. Only 20% are females.
Interesting.
And both of them are girls.
Okay, so we got these little girl kitties here, and they are ready to be adopted.
Yeah, for fostering to adopt. So right now, their mama Tangerine, bless her, she is already starting the weaning process, and these guys are already loving wet food and getting on the dry already. They're already using the litter box. Cats grow up quick. So right now, they are looking for some foster to adopt homes. So for the next month or so, if you're interested in adopting one of them or both of them, there's no judgment. You would reach out to us, fill out a foster application, and then they would go home with you. So as fosters of the SEK Humane Society, you're provided everything: food, litter, everything that you would need. You provide the love and time, we'll provide everything else. And then here in about a month or so, when the girls are big enough, they'll be spayed, and then adoption will be completed at that point.
Okay, well that sounds like a pretty good deal. I mean, especially with things the way they are, you know, that's a difficulty for pet owners, is even just getting started sometimes is a bit tough. So that certainly helps out.
We like that, especially with younger ones, with our older ones, with anybody across the board. It really gives you that time for them to adjust to your household. And if things don't work out, that's not a bad thing. We never say it's a bad thing. It's always positive enrichment for them to experience kids, to experience a TV, to experience a home, right? And what we can do when you're in fostering is take pictures, right? Share those with us. So if for some reason it's not going towards an adoption, we can share their stories, and people can see like you handling Danish and be like, well, I bet she'd be great in my kid's lap, you know? And it puts them in that perspective.
Okay, and so tell me a little bit too real quick about the importance of adopting from a shelter.
There's a lot. So right now, as many have heard, shelters across the United States are at max capacity. So with us being a no-kill facility for every animal that goes out, right now there's 20 to 40 waiting to take that spot. So we really encourage adopt, don't shop. There's so many animals right now. We have across the board. If you've been looking for a specific animal, I'm telling you, there's shelters that are so packed right now, you have a high chance of finding some very high-breed animals in a shelter. So please go out of your way to look into these shelters. They are doing everything that they can to save as many lives as possible, and you're not having to pay $1,000 for a dog. For us, like we're announcing like this Friday that we're going to be doing $30 adoptions all the way through the end of the month for dogs. And our cats are 45. Everybody's spayed and altered, up to date on vaccinations, microchipped, and our dogs are even heartworm tested. We're doing a lot of that vet work, so they're ready to go. So don't spend that type of money out of pocket for a premium breed. I'm telling you that a shelter animal will give it back to you for the rest of their life, 200%.
All right, Jasmine, thank you so much. And of course, we'll have additional information on our website as well. We got another look at your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 7:18 coming up on 7:19 on this Tuesday morning. Starting with the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Got some showers out into parts of Elk and Chautauqua County. And we've got a few more that have developed back off to the west of Wichita, south of Windsor, and that'd be just northwest of Cedarvale. So around Sedan, Lafayette, and Howard, just off to your south and west, getting in on at least some kind of shower activity. Now, it's not a lot, nor are we anticipating really much more out of this activity, but at least some of us are getting some kind kind of rain, which is, I mean, at this point, it's better than no rain. Otherwise, we just have a few clouds out there to get our day started. Future track, again, not showing this rain by the noon hour, so these are expected to be gone before too much longer, unfortunately. But we will otherwise have mostly clear skies and temperatures beginning to warm above normal today. Not significantly so, but we will be warmer than where we were yesterday. And by Wednesday, even though we're going to have another pretty decent or near average start for us, we're going to be upwards of 10 degrees or so warmer than normal as we head into Wednesday afternoon. And we're just looking at sunny skies out there with just the dry conditions. Now, as we go into Thursday, we have an opportunity overnight and into the first half of our Thursday in this green zone. So Yates Center, Fredonia, Coffeyville initially, and then really across the bulk of southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. I want to emphasize, this is not a big area of rain, regrettably. I know we want it to be. I wish it was. The future track here with this green highlight is showing where we could potentially see an isolated shower or thunderstorm. So the darker color here around Yates Center is indicating a slightly better chance of maybe a stray shower or storm. And then as you see, by the time we hit about 2, 3 o'clock, those chances are gone. And we do have some additional chances, but not until the end of next week. Take a look. You can see the eye really starting to get back together if you look close enough here on Milton. This is the latest. Now, Milton's winds have actually come back down a little bit to 145 miles an hour. Earlier this morning, it was 155. At 157, it goes back to Category 5 strength, and that's still an expectation as we head later this morning into the early afternoon as it will re-intensify, and then eventually weaken again to Category 4 strength, and then by late Wednesday, early Thursday, it's expected to make landfall in the Tampa Bay area as a strong Category 3 hurricane. So we're still talking potential for significant devastation. As you can see, some changes now. If you were with us on the KOAM side, we had hurricane watches, tropical storm watches on the east coast of Florida. Those have now been upgraded. So we have hurricane warnings stretching across the central portion of the Florida Peninsula, tropical storm warnings for the entire southern half of the state, including Miami and the Florida Keys, and some additional tropical storm warnings just southeast of Panama City. Hurricane warnings, Tampa, Fort Myers, Orlando, Daytona Beach. Still could be a very devastating storm for Florida. Quick look at temperatures here. We're partly cloudy in Joplin. You can see a beautiful sunrise from our camera 7th and range line, sitting at 51 degrees. Around the area, we've got some of us, like Stockton, for example, well below average at 42, and others right about at average, like Neodesha, Parsons, Chanute sitting at 53. So a mixed bag out there of temperatures, but still a chilly start nonetheless. Still chilly through the morning. Upper 40s to start, and eventually near 70 by 11 o'clock this morning. And again, by this afternoon, highs upper 70s, maybe a couple low 80s, low to mid 80s Wednesday. And then we start warming up, maybe an isolated storm Thursday, pushing near 90 this weekend. Another boundary Sunday night into Monday. Cools us down briefly on Monday. We heat back up, and maybe some isolated showers by next Thursday. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. I'm Elise Snowy. The city of Neosho, Missouri has support for its infrastructure on the way. Yesterday, the city hosted a presentation announcing the receipt of Community Development Block Grant funds. Neosho plans to utilize the funds to improve parking in the city.
This will enable them to be able to park in an area that they don't have to get out into traffic. It will enable them to have a little bit easier access to the building and be able to come and go. The transportation in the area, the public transportation in the area will be able to access the building better. So it'll make a difference in how they live.
Attendees include the City of Neosho representatives, Neosho Housing Authority, and Community Development Block Grant Program representatives. Well, the Funkin' Patch offers all sorts of activities for families, including a pumpkin shooting cannon. How about that? On Halloween from 6 to 9, candy will be shot from the pumpkin cannon every half hour. Along with the cannon, they have bounce houses, a corn maze, a corn pit, and much more.
Well, we have the pumpkin cannon, which shoots the pumpkin pretty far. The guys seem to really like that. And then our train, it goes our whole 40 acres, which people seem to really like that. It's the longest train ride that they've had. It's kind of bumpy, but people still seem to really like it.
The Funkin' Patch is open Friday from 8 p.m. to midnight, Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight, and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And there is something fun for everyone at the Pryor Creek Pumpkin Patch. Now, the farm, going on its 4th year, offers a wide variety of activities from children's games to adult night outs. Nick McPherson runs the patch with his wife, and their favorite part of the farm is watching people enjoy their time when they stop by.
The corn pit. I mean, kids they live in the corn pit, and really whenever they leave, their parents have to drag them out, and that's like all they talk about. And my wife gets messages all the time of corn being in their house whenever they go change diapers and go to bath time or anything.
The Pryor Creek Pumpkin Patch is open every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Tuesday from 5 to 7 from now until October. Now here's Chris with a quick look at the forecast.
And we're going to start with a look outside from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Got a great view of this sunrise this morning. Got a few clouds out there. Otherwise, not a bad start today. A little bit chilly for some of us. And another great view of the sunrise from our camera at 7th and Range Line as it peeks up from behind those trees. We'll head down south to MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line. See a few more clouds. It's looking a little more southwesterly. We got a few more clouds off to the west there. And we're not doing too bad either. KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue. Skywatch Storm Tracker. We have these showers out here. We've got some near Wichita. Then we've got a few that are working into Elk and Chautauqua County. And eventually, if these continue to hold together, we'll make it into parts of Montgomery County. So whether or not they'll survive to Independence or Coffeyville is still kind of up in the air. But we'll see exactly what they do. But nonetheless, at least some of us getting some kind of rainfall. And by some, I mean really a select few, but I'm sure you're welcoming it. That rain not showing up on the future track by noon, just a few clouds out there, and temperatures today will be warmer than where we were yesterday. And for some of us, just a wee bit above average out there. Temperatures this morning, some of us a bit below normal right now. 51 in Joplin, 50 in Pittsburgh and across the area. Again, it's a chilly start for some. We got 42 in Stockton and Fort Scott. Then we've got some 50s out there as well. So a few of us, again, below normal. Highs today, mid-upper 70s, maybe a couple of low 80s, a few clouds here and there, and we'll have some eventual clearing by the time we reach the evening hours. We're going to really heat up as we head into tomorrow and the second half of this week, and we'll have more on that, plus the latest on Hurricane Milton in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, speaking of Hurricane Milton, it turns into a Category 5 storm over the Gulf of Mexico with Florida in its direct path. Now, state officials have ordered evacuations as the Gulf region scrambles to clear debris from Hurricane Helene, which hit less than 2 weeks ago. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork has more from Washington.
Please listen to evacuation orders. Please listen to your local officials.
Hurricane Milton strengthened into a Category 5 Monday. The powerful storm clocking sustained winds of up to 180 miles per hour as it churns across the Gulf of Mexico heading toward Florida's west coast. Milton is expected to reach peak intensity Tuesday before possibly weakening to a strong Category 3 storm by Wednesday.
This is a really powerful storm right now, and even though the forecast is weakened, even if it weakens, it's still going to be a major storm. Don't mess with it.
The National Hurricane Center warned some communities in Florida could see 15 inches of flooding rain, and the Tampa Bay area could be hit with 10 to 15 feet of life-threatening storm surge. Widespread power outages are also likely due to high winds. Some airports in the region have already suspended flights and operations.
If you delay until the storm arrives, emergency responders may not be able to reach you until the threat passes. You may be on your own.
The Southeast is still recovering from Hurricane Helene's damage. The storm killed at least 230 people as it barreled through Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. With back-to-back storms, resources are being spread thin.
We've suspended some of the resources for Helene right now to ensure that all those resources are ready to go back out.
We are very scared from the last storm. Our house was under 4 to 5 feet of water.
Hurricane Milton is expected to move across Florida and out over into the Atlantic Ocean by Thursday, impacting the state's east coast as well. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. 2 New York men are using a popular game to help engage and empower area youth. In Consumer Watch this morning, a federal judge clears the way for an antitrust case to continue against Amazon. Now, Judge John H. Chun says the FTC case against the e-commerce company can proceed, but a few of the claims in the lawsuit were thrown out. Now, the agency and attorney generals from 18 states say Amazon uses its power in the industry to inflate prices and overcharge sellers to limit competition from other companies. Amazon has attempted to get the whole lawsuit thrown out, but it says it has confidence in proving its argument in court. A federal judge orders Google to stop shielding its Android app store from competition. Yesterday, a U.S. district judge ruled that Google is required to make its Play Store for Android apps available to competitor third-party app stores so any consumer can download them. Now, the tech company has until November to make these changes, but Google says that it will take at least 12 to 16 months to create safeguards to prevent potentially malicious software from infecting millions of devices. Well, no matter how much you may love your job, most employees look forward to a nice vacation every once in a while. But new data is giving us a look at how some remote workers are taking a different kind of break. Fox News' Ted Lindner investigates.
With remote work opportunities pressing on in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, the results of a recent Harris poll are highlighting a growing trend called quiet vacationing. It involves employees taking unauthorized time off from their jobs while still appearing to be on the clock. According to the data, more than 25% of American workers say they've taken unsanctioned time away from their tasks. Some business experts believe the essence of remote work could trigger more people to try a quiet vacation because remote work means people may not be doing assignments together in person. Dr. Peter Dominic says more virtual meetings may be added to their schedule to keep everyone on their team in the loop.
Things frequently have to be more planned. And with all of that planning, even when it's helpful, it still adds layers of structure that sometimes can be overwhelming.
Well, some critics say you can't fully relax on a quiet vacation because you still have to be somewhat checked into your remote job. This trend could be a sign that more people's work-life balance may be changing.
Maybe part of what we're also seeing are the different ways in which people are integrating work and other aspects of their life into a more holistic whole.
Meanwhile, the Harris poll also reveals 78% of workers don't use the full amount of paid time off they're allowed by their company, with the average employee only taking 15 paid days off last year.
I think some of that pressure is catching up with all of us.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 7:45 now on this Tuesday morning. We are starting with the Skywatch Storm Tracker because, again, out to our west, we have some showers. Got some heavier showers around the Wichita area, and those stretch back to the east into our area. So southeast of Howard, now just rolling to the east of Sedan. Got another one just to your west as well. It is yet to be seen if these will hold through as they push into Montgomery County and eventually could make it to Independence and Coffeyville. So we'll see exactly how those pan out. But otherwise, we just have a few clouds out there, and we just have this activity that initially couldn't even make it into our area, but it's trying to. So at least some of us getting a little bit of rainfall. Now, the future track by the noon hour only shows some remaining clouds. It does not show any rain out there, and that's how we're expecting today to be, is dry and mostly clear with clear skies as we head later into the evening. Temperatures a little warmer today than they were yesterday, putting us a little warmer than average. Tonight, not bad. We're looking to be relatively close to normal again, but for Wednesday, temperatures will start to heat up, and we're going to go about 10 degrees above normal for many of us out there with nothing but sunshine. Then we head into Thursday, and we have an opportunity at least for some isolated showers or maybe a thunderstorm. So on the future track, this green area that eventually overspreads most of southeast Kansas and into northeastern Oklahoma, unfortunately, this does not rain across this entire region. This is simply highlighting that in this zone, so from the 69 corridor and west, we could see a shower or storm. In all honesty, we're looking at maybe the chances at this point of 1, perhaps 2 pop-up showers in that zone. So the future track just showing where that could be. And then by about 2, 3 o'clock, those chances are pretty much gone. Will be even warmer on our Thursday. All right, Hurricane Milton, winds have come down to 145 miles an hour. Remember, at 157, it goes back to Category 5 status, which is what's currently expected by later this morning, early afternoon, to re-intensify to Category 5 strength. And then it will begin to weaken back down to Category 4 strength as it approaches the Florida coast and set to make landfall late Wednesday, early Thursday in the Tampa Bay area as a strong Category 3 hurricane. So hurricane warnings from the west coast to the east coast of the Florida Peninsula, right through the middle. So this includes Daytona Beach, Tampa, Fort Myers, Orlando. Tropical storm warnings for the southern portion of the peninsula, including the Keys and Miami. And then we've got hurricane warnings also. They stretch up right along the edge of Jacksonville, and tropical storm warnings just to the southeast of Panama City. So certainly something we want to watch. Those folks, again, as we've done stories, are still recovering from Helene, and they're running out of time before Milton makes landfall. 51 in Joplin right now. Great view of that sunrise from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Temperatures this morning, some of us below normal. Stockton, for example, sitting at 42, 43 Anderson. And then we've got a mix of 40s and some low 50s. So close to average. Many of us, though, below normal this morning. So a chilly start, upper 40s by 8, near 70 by 11 o'clock this morning with mostly clear skies. Highs today, upper 70s, maybe some low 80s. Low to mid 80s tomorrow, mid to upper 80s Thursday. Pushing close to 90 by this weekend. Another boundary Sunday night into Monday briefly cools us down. We'll heat back up again next week. Maybe a few isolated showers next Thursday. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
New Bronx natives open a Project Pawn Learning Center to empower local youth through chess.
They're teaching them valuable life skills in a safe community space. Fox's Kendall Green has more.
The quiet patter of chess pieces nudged across chessboards is the sound of a dream fulfilled at Project Pawn Learning Center in the Bronx. The co-founders, Chris Johnson and Abdul Suleiman Jr., began their journey to opening the chess center in their own neighborhood, around the same age as the kids they serve, when they discovered their own love for the game.
I would play chess in the morning, during school, after school. I'd play in every tournament that they had in the city.
After years of traveling through schools across the city, mentoring kids through chess, they got the same feedback from parents and students.
You guys don't have a location for us to come to. Your community is so strong. The kids love the program so much. You guys need a home base.
And so that journey, years later, led to Soundview Avenue and the opening of their own center in September, where they already serve as many as 500 kids a week who come after school and on the weekends.
It challenges you and makes you think, like, if I move here, what would happen?
Students share thanks to Project Pawn Center. They enjoy it too.
I like that it's a very mental game, like it's a lot of thinking and it makes you smarter.
The duo shares opening the center was about providing access to a safe space to build relationships and community, a place the founders wished they had when they were growing up.
Learning those skills of just what should I do next and how am I going to do it? Is there opposition that's in front of me? Like, how do I get around it?
Sharing kids take away lessons every day beyond the board, like establishing self-regulation, self-reflection, and resilience.
If you're not winning the game, if you're losing the game, you have to self-regulate and say, hey, the game's not over. I still have moves to make. I can still make a comeback and right the wrongs.
The vision is we want every child to learn how to play chess. We want every child to have a place.
Absolutely an impressive program.
Yes, and you can learn a lot from chess, as they're saying. And so it's great to see, a community program for young minds to learn more and to put their minds to use.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we've got a few light showers out there. Let's take a quick look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. We've got them parts of Chautauqua and Montgomery counties, a few more out to the west. Now, these aren't expected to last too much longer, but at least some of us are getting a little bit of rainfall out there. As we head into the afternoon, though, we are looking at mostly clear skies. Temperatures today are going to be a little warmer than where we were yesterday, a little warmer than normal before we really heat up on Wednesday. One of the latest on your forecast and the news you need to know when we come back.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A McDonald County judge yesterday formally sentenced Dawn Wynn to life in prison without parole for shooting and killing her husband Harold Wynn in 2021 near Anderson, Missouri. Wynn was also sentenced to 15 years in prison for armed criminal action. Now, two buses collided yesterday morning on I-44. The buses were new and delivered to a school district but did not have children on board at the time. The first bus was towing an SUV, and as the first bus slowed in traffic, the second bus crashed into the tow vehicle, crushing it between them. There were no reported injuries. And the city of Neosho, Missouri has support for its infrastructure. Yesterday, the city hosted a presentation announcing the receipt of Community Development Block Grant funds. Neosho plans to utilize the funds to improve parking in the city.
A few morning showers in our far western counties. Those will dissipate over the next hour or so. We'll have mostly clear skies and eventually make it mid-upper 70s out there, maybe even a couple of low 80-degree readings. Clouds will begin to clear later this evening. We'll be clear overnight, upper 40s and low 50s. And temperatures start to heat up Wednesday, low to mid-80s, and then upper 80s to near 90 heading into the weekend. Maybe an isolated shower storm Thursday. Another boundary Sunday night into Monday. Drops our temperatures briefly. They heat back up with additional shower chances by next Thursday.
Alrighty. Well, an adorable koala was spotted on security video wandering around a Sydney train station early Friday morning. Footage shared by Transport for New South Wales shows the marsupial crossing the platform at Kazula Station in Sydney Southwest before marching beside the tracks and heading up the stairs.
A train guard notified the security control center, and incoming trains were warned to slow down when passing through the area. The koala was guided safely back to nearby bushland. So maybe he was just trying to catch a train, go visit some friends and family somewhere.
I mean, I don't blame him. What a cute little
It
guy.
would be a lot faster.
It really would.
It'd be a lot faster to ride the train and try and walk that
cute.
distance. Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.